The Challenge software program is entirely web-based, which has many advantages, including availability. You will be able to access this program anywhere you have internet access. You will also have quick access to updates or any improvements that we make to the program. This is the home page where you can sign up or sign in. Once you've signed up with Challenge software, you will receive a welcome email, which includes your password. You will then be able to sign in at the home page by using your email address as the username and the password that was assigned to you in your welcome email. Once you've logged in, you will be taken to the Clinician Administration page. From the Clinician Administration page, you will be able to manage your client load, add new clients, review information about existing clients under Client Data, and choose a particular client to work with by clicking on their ID. This is also where you can review news or updates from Challenge software, check the Frequently Asked Questions section of the program, and post comments about the program for our review. These comments are very important to us and help us improve the program. First, let's look at the client list. Each user is provided with a test client to use for exploring the program and reviewing new scenarios or training other professionals on how to use the program. Next, let's look at how to add a new client. First, click on the Add Client button. We then enter a short demographic page. The client is automatically assigned a unique ID number. Remember, there are no names used anywhere in the Challenge software program. At this point, it is important to record the client's ID number somewhere in your records so that you will be able to identify them later. We then simply complete the demographics and click Submit. You can also type any notes that you would like to type about the client. Once you have clicked Submit, the client is now represented in our client list. The first time we select a new client, the client is taken to the assessment automatically. This happens so that we can get some baseline information about where the client is regarding self-control and how the client attributes responsibility before using the program. The assessment involves a brief scenario with a few short questions following. The assessment involves a boy named Tommy who is asked to complete a homework assignment by his teacher. He has an intense emotional reaction to this request. The first question asks the client to assign responsibility for the main character's intense anger. There are 10 units that the child can distribute between the teacher, Tommy, or some other reason to explain why Tommy became so upset. The units are manipulated by clicking the arrows at both ends. There is also a pie chart representation at the bottom of the screen. All 10 units must be used to continue. The second question is very straightforward. The third question is also self-explanatory. Once the assessment has been completed, the child is taken to the screen with the orange background. This is the screen that you will usually be at when interacting with the child. This is where all of the scenarios are listed. This is also where you can access and play the games if you would like to allow your client to do that. Let's walk through one scenario together. We'll choose the negative comment scenario. You choose this scenario by clicking on What Would You Do?
I don't really like that. That looks dumb.
In the scenarios, first an event takes place that is typically out of the child's control. In this scenario, our main character is the boy. After the action takes place, we take a look at what the boy may be thinking. We have presented some options about how the boy may have interpreted this event. We have chosen some common ways to look at these events and categorize them into healthy and unhealthy thoughts. Notice that an icon is paired with each side, a snake for unhealthy and a man for healthy. The child you are working with is then asked to choose one from each side that he or she could relate to. Then the decision-making process begins. A video game has been used to illustrate or embody the conflict between the two competing ideas that ultimately determine the child's emotional and behavioral outcome. It is not the event which dictates the outcome, but rather the thoughts which are used to interpret the event. Instructions for the game are provided here. Click to start. The ending to the scenario is based on the outcome of the game. Basically, which thought wins. Just as in real life, the thought that wins dictates the outcome. The child is asked to navigate through the game and defeat all of the unhealthy thoughts. That is the empowering message from using this program. The game exemplifies the child's ability to control his own emotional outcome. We are teaching the child to be proactive instead of reactive. The program can be as directive or as non-directive as you would like for it to be. For example, you can comment on the scenarios as they play through, or say nothing. It's also interesting to watch the child as they navigate through the game and manage their frustration levels. If the child navigates the game correctly, the healthy ending will play out. You will then have an option to view the unhealthy ending with the client. If the child does not navigate through the game correctly and the unhealthy thought wins, there is an option to play the game again and to play the same difficulty level or try an easier level. From here, you also have the option to go back to the main menu. From the main menu, you can see which scenarios that you've completed by looking for the green completed sign next to them. It also shows the date that it was last completed. Another option from the main page is that you can allow your clients to play the games without viewing the scenarios. This is a nice reward for the children if you choose to use it as such. Another important link from the main page is the Suggest a Scenario link. After going through a few scenarios, the children get the idea of how the program works. This is a good time to try this feature. The idea here is for the child to process an event, their thoughts about the event, and the outcomes of that event, together with a helping professional. This exercise can be a treatment objective all on its own. The child is challenging unhealthy thoughts with their own words. This is a guided process. It is usually helpful to print a copy or a couple of copies of this form before submitting it. Send one with the client and keep one for the records. From the main page, you can also go back to the Clinician Administration page by clicking back. This concludes the tutorial of the Challenge software program. If this program seems like it would be of use to you or children you know, please request an invite and we will get you a password so that you can begin to use the program. Thanks for your interest in helping children take control of their own emotional well-being.